let's get into the GA drama going on. Right now, there's a lot of different stuff, but the first thing I want to kind of talk about is what we're thinking about the sniper, the SOG, and the knife getting the boot here before the first set of matches. Good.
I will say, first things first with the sniper. I strongly disagree with that take. You kind of need snipers in S&D. I'm sorry, some teams just don't use them. Don't have a sniper on their team, and that's all right. You don't have to have one to be great, but there is some stuff with that. For the SOG, I think that's kind of a bit of a weird GA, but I also kind of get it in the perspective of it's a DLC gun. We've hardly ever, if ever, used a DLC gun in comp. I don't think we ever have. So I think that one, in that sense, makes sense. And then the knife, I honestly don't understand that one whatsoever.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on most of that. The knife thing, honestly, such a random thing to do, especially when you're using a bat. You got the full time knife. Um, yeah, that was a little odd. I think they could have done something where you could run with it, just not use it as a weapon. Who knows? Just it's an interesting thing. But at the end of the day, with the whole sniper, I think it was bad enough that you just leave it in without smokes. I don't. You're getting hit markers. There's no attachments allowed on it. You're probably not going to use it much, which is kind of the point, right? Why are you getting rid of something that is a tactical option if you have it in, but at the same time, probably not going to be seeing it as much as you would think. So I don't fully get that. I think it would have been fine, kind of like Vanguard was with the sniper. You saw it sometimes, but it was usually a map or two that it worked. Rarely was it worth pulling out. So I think that's what they should have just done. The SOG, I mean, it's a DLC gun, so I tend to think no DLC guns in the game. I know people were on it because it's not that OP. Personally, it's about the same as the Jackal. In my opinion, Jackal may be a little better in most scenarios. So I see the outrage with it just because the SOG's a well-known gun from BO4, but it's a DLC gun. We don't use DLC guns. Everyone knows that. Even the new people kind of get that at an early point. So
yeah,
I don't know. So I'm glad we agree on pretty much all that. But the whole other side of the argument is how these GAs are decided. Do you like the players being in control, or would you rather the league run it a little more strict? That way they could enforce it and kind of keep teams from abusing the system to get items out to, for these bad reasons instead of the entertainment value of a sniper or that. Do you think there should be regulation? You think the league should run it outright? What are your thoughts?
So I think there should. So I do think the players should have a certain amount of input because they are the ones competing, and there are times when there really are guns that are just too much. For example, like the XM4, the Model L at times. Hell, the Krieg. You know, those are like GAs that I think, make universal sense. But I do think the league needs to either put together some kind of group that kind of oversees these GAs being done, or some kind of committee or something. Because some of these GAs kind of get out of hand compared to, because at the end of the day, what makes this league possible are the fans.
Right. I mean, that's every entertainment league. And I hate to bring, because people are always on you if you bring in football or traditional sports. I think it's PTSD from MW19. Besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tend to like the idea they have like player safety kind of commissions where who's involved in that is coaches. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Personally, you got coaches for a reason. Some teams
Mm-hmm.
don't pay as much for the coaches. Maybe they don't even have one. But I think it's safe to say if you had coaches, the players can talk to them, and then they could meet once a month, discuss that, or if something is urgent, new release,
Mm-hmm.
something comes out, whatever it may be, talk about it, say, okay, we're teams are going to test this, our teams aren't. Have somebody at the league in control of like the meetings, kind of setting it up, all that.
Mm-hmm.
You can even this was like a flank idea. They were like have somebody like a Ben J Nassim involved for like a community voice if you want to. I don't think you should give them a vote,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe just a voice at the table would be fine. But
Yeah.
that way it's more structured. So we don't also deal with this, oh, you broke GAs. No, you didn't. And instead of just like you don't get scrims for a week, you can have some real consequences, you can have some real structure, and it would improve the understanding of the roles for everybody. We have an arbitrary set of roles set by a group chat of players as opposed to and that was fine for a certain point, but I think COD's trying to legitimize itself in a way where it's hard to understand for newer people, and I
Mm.
think it hurts them because then people are like us, the viewer versus the pro player, when it just really isn't the case, and I think this would kind of help a lot of those tensions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because tensions are really high right now. Really more than they should be. In my mind, like this is really blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean it's every year. They're like, "What? That got G8?" Like it may be
but
disappointing, but let's not be shocked. I mean, we know what's going on.
no,
It's been the
eh,
same pretty much since
but
the league started. So
I feel like there's a lot more outrage this year than I've seen in a long time,
and
if ever.
I think that's just a lot of people are tired of it
Mm-hmm.
because nothing's changed, but people are like, all right, we're still getting rid of snipers. We're still doing GAing stupid shit. And I think that's valid, but at the same time, I think it's fair to say you could avoid that by doing the structure, and really nothing changes. I mean, you Kenny's the representative for Optic. You think he just goes in there
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, guessing? They do scrims, they talk about it. Nothing really changes, but it gives league
Mm-hmm.
more power, and honestly, gives coaches something to do. That actually feels like a coach's job outside of analyzing stuff, because like that is what a manager kind of does in all sports and esports.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be the team's connection to the league, and I think that's a fair thing to ask, and I think it would help a lot because at the end of the day, you can blame the GA commission for something, and you don't have to go after players. And I think it cleans it
Yeah,
up a little bit for a professional league, in my opinion.
it does.
But probably will never happen. It might. You never know. I think if enough people are like, something needs to change after this year, seeing the outrage,
Mm-hmm.
I think it could happen. But I think it starts with the players as well. I think they need to agree. It's a little annoying, and we can kind of figure something else out.
Yeah.
But
And
I mean,
that's
yeah.
And on another note too, like the way they have it now, and this is as far as I will go into this part of this discussion on the GA stuff. But the way they have it now is like a very very self-serving in some ways, and very like you know, not every it seems like and some people say it's like some of the teams don't really get much of a say,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's not even right.
No, it isn't. And I mean, hey, we're just this is from a fan perspective,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. So we don't have that inside scoop like some do, but we're just, talking about what we can and honestly having fun with it because at the end of the day, they're probably not gonna listen to us, but at the same time, why not talk about it? Um, why
Mm-hmm.
not, add to the community as much as possible? And that's all we're doing. And like I said, if nothing changes, it's not going to shock us. We're not going to be too disappointed. But at the same
No.
time, I mean, maybe it will, and maybe that'll be a good thing. So